Previously, I made a video about thinkers will argue and they're not necessarily pissed off. They're just doing it because they're thinkers. It's not a big deal. Don't read too much into it. But sometimes we are a little miffed, a little annoyed, a little vexed, a little riled up. For me, as an introverted thinker, that happens when well, this is me right here. That little TI at the top, not so little. And that means whenever I come across something super dumb, I get a little annoyed. For example, I came across this clip about how ISFPs are stupid. And you know what? I think it's a little annoying.
The lead FI, SE, double demon TE. I usually the tribe is not classifying them as the smartest guy in the room because they're not fucking brain surgeons. They're not the smartest guys on the spectrum. Being smartnesses is not where that type really shines.
Look, you watch this clip and it's like, dude, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not an ISFP. I don't even talk to any ISFPs. Hit me in the DMs. But like, this is just like so obviously sloppy. And first of all, it would only be fair if they are dumb. Let me just get the record straight. Because what do you get to be confidently in touch with your feelings and super good looking, and on top of that, you're super smart? No. That's not fair. That's not how it works. I picked my two, you pick your two, and we call it. But all right, fine. ISFPs are dumb. I'll go along. I'll TE go along. And if you're an ISFP and you disagree, write it down in the comments. Have ChatGPT write you a cogent argument. Anyway, you were telling me about Magnus Carlsen's type. What were we going to say?
So Magnus Carlsen just seems to be a boring, run-of-the-mill ISFP with a high intelligence. That's it.
Look, I think what it is that if you have an introverted function, you're looking at the extroverted function, it's like, dude, this is so sloppy. You're just going to have to redo it. And like, yeah, sure, maybe it's directionally correct. Like maybe most ISFPs are really fucking dumb. I don't know if I believe that personally because I'm a good person and I see the best in everybody and everybody else is a medium person. I'm a great person. But I see generally what it's trying to say. It's just pointless to say that, in my opinion. Just like any introverted function says to an extroverted function, just say less things. You don't have to say so many things and you end up saying something stupid. Because also to me, it's like, why piss people off and be wrong? You're only allowed to piss people off when you're right. And then you litter the landscape with a bunch of things that are just like bad anecdotes. Also, remember when we were trying to get rid of anecdotes and move to definitions? I loved those rants. Remember those? These kids on TikTok, you kids, you're living in anecdote land. Don't you see? You could get hurt.
The problem is coming from myths from Myers-Briggs.
They play to the stereotypical anecdotes.
Because it's easy.
It's so easy brain.
I think that's what
you like history, SI. Of what's FE at the top on crack, just remember pi fixes everything.
Look, anyway, who cares, right? I am annoyed about it only because I'm an introverted thinker and I'm going to be annoyed at any kind of like sloppy thinking in this kind of way, right? Because over time, I want things to get better. I don't want you to like have things get better and then you say a bunch of stupid shit and things get confusing again, right? In the same way, other introverted functions will hold other extroverted functions accountable for the long term. They'll be careful putting down blocks. Meanwhile, extroverted functions just want to be directionally correct and then we'll move and then we'll move again and then we'll move again. They just want to move generally in the right direction. And so you might slap a band-aid on it on the short term because extroverted functions focus on the here and now. What is the circumstances here? And they're willing to expend energy. That's why it's extroverted, because they're still trying to like discover the lay of the land. But to the introverted function, it's like, dude, we don't need to discover. Now we got it. Just lay down a block and just don't move from that. Fine. If you want to discover, that's fine. But once you've discovered it, put the freaking block down. In the same way, NI will look to NE. It's like, dude, you're just like brainstorming on something stupid and it's not going to have a payout. We already know what's going on. Or SI will say to SE is that, dude, there's a process that works here clearly already. But then you keep on doing things that are wasteful and also not replicable, either by you or someone else. Or FI will look to FE and be like, you said you'd always love me. And FE is like, hey, we just trying to out here, baby. And obviously to FE will look basic, right? It's just like you're moving along with the crowd. You don't have like your own sense of taste. You keep on changing, yada, yada, yada. In fact, literally, I got called basic the other day. So I was telling my friend, I was like raving about like my no-show socks. I love the no-show socks. They're really easy to travel with because you can fit a whole bunch in like a small amount and they look good and all that business, a bunch of reasons. So I'm raving about it. And a little bit later, I go to the gym and I'm looking around I'm like, hey, those are my socks. And I'll like look up and I'm like, oh man, it's a freaking loser old dude. And I see my socks again. And let's just say like the demographics of the people wearing my socks, Not very flattering. And then all the people wearing like these like dorky 80s socks, you know, these tube socks. I'm like, oh, all the sexy, cool, hip people are wearing those. And I look back at my people and I'm like, fuck this shit. I ain't wearing no loser socks. I grabbed my phone right then and there. I ordered a pair. It's right here, actually. Look at these socks. Literally 2 weeks ago, if you would have told me, I would have been like, these are the ugliest socks I've ever seen. But now, I've never seen anyone or anything so beautiful. Anyway, so I wear a pair of the new socks and I go and I show my friend, I'm like, hey, check out my socks. And he's like, weren't you just raving about no-show socks? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what? And then you just changed your mind because you saw people at the gym wearing them? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what, you're just going to follow what everyone else is doing? I'm like, I'm not following. Is it because I changed my mind? And the same thing happened with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's a similar type to me. He has also NI and TI at the top. So Tate is in the news again because now he's saying, if you sleep with women, you're gay. Let's pull up his tweet. I'm going to let him read it for you.
Sex is for making children. Any man who has sex with women because it feels good is gay. Oh, my pee-pee feels good. This is great. In fact, if you are 40 with less than 5 children, you're probably gay. All that feel-good pee-pee sex and hardly any genetic legacy.
Anybody who's tracking long-term values, people are going to be like, dude, weren't you the one saying, get women, get money? And I get that. But also, I think he's like progressing in the right direction, right? So like, give him a pat on the back for that. Before it was get women, get money. Now it's get women, have babies, get money, raise family. I think we're headed in a good direction. In fact, literally you change one letter from this thing, and that's exactly what my mom says. Get woman, get money, have babies, raise family. Just give them a couple of years. So that's FI looking at FE. We did TI. There's also SI. So like if I think about my dad is SI at the top, masculine SI at the top. And whenever it comes to things in his life, he really does take care of it. He takes care of his car as if he's going to have it forever. Like anything in the perimeter of his house, he lives there as if, oh, this is my house. I'm going to live here. I'm going to live here forever. But for me, my SE perspective is, look, I don't know what's going on tomorrow. Let's just get her done. I'm throwing the tools in whatever drawer has any space. God bless me, doesn't get mad about that. And if there's anything even slightly off in the house, my dad will like zero in on it. So I was visiting him a couple of months back, and at his house, he has one of those electric car door opener gates, right? These like big metal things. And the gate was opening a little bit slower than it does normally, and it's making a little bit of a squeaky noise. And he's like, oh my God, the gate's broken. The gate's broken, the gate's broken. And to me, bruh, you press the button and the gate opened. The gate's opening. That to me is not a broken gate. Is it gonna work tomorrow? I don't know. It's working today. It's like, dude, I have a lot of empathy for this gate. You know, sometimes you're going through a rough period and you're a little bit slow out of the gate. But once you rest up, you're back at 100%. Just give it some time. But to my dad, it's like, no, the gate's broken. The gate is broken. In his mind, the gate is broken. So I get roped into fixing this not broken gate. And I flip it to manual mode. Okay, open it, close it. Open it, close it. Open it, close it. You hear that? No, I don't hear anything. I do hear something, but it's just like the tiniest squeak of a mouse. And so I'm like, no, I don't hear anything. And so he's like, okay, open it again. Close it. Open it, close it. And I'm getting a little bit pissed off. And he's like, open it, close it now. I hate orders being barked at me like that. And so I'm getting pissed off. And he's getting frustrated because the gate that's not broken doesn't seem to have any problems. And he's like, all right, close it faster this time, fast. So I slide the gate closed in a very reasonable way. And this freaking 1,000-pound gate slams against the closing bracket, snaps it off, derails, and comes crashing to the ground. My dad's like looking at it. He looks at me. And I was like, you know what? You're right. It is broken. And I f*** off inside. And we never talk about it again. Anyway, I'll leave you to imagine the last one, NI versus NE. Because I've narrowed down the concept enough, you can come up with a million examples that fits this pattern for NI and NE. All right? Anyway, that's the video. Catch you guys next time.